Namaste, Astrology Adventures. Today I want to discuss the topic of conscious astrology. This interests you? Keep watching. I'm Paul Manley, and you're watching Light on Vedic Astrology. So, what is conscious astrology? Well, first of all, what is conscious? Being attentive, right? That's conscious. Being aware, being knowledgeable versus being unaware, unattentive, avoiding, ignorant. So, but this really, do we have a choice in astrology? That's a deeper question, right? Or is it all fated? Do we just consult the astrology chart to find out what kind of terrible situations coming down the pike and try to enjoy the ride? Or do we use astrology as a tool for awareness to make better choices? Well, the latter is what I believe and what I prescribe or what I live. And really, this is about living our higher self. And that implies that we have a choice to live our higher self or a lower self, right? So if we consult the astrology chart like a map for navigating through time, we see that there's a Saturn influence, for instance. I mean, first of all the 9 planets are our gurus. They're our teachers. They're teaching us something. So this is a different way of looking at it, at the astrology chart. See, what are we learning here in this situation? Okay, so that's really where we want to go with this. Albert Einstein said something very interesting. He said, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. Let me say that again. The most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. So first we have to understand that things are working for us, not against us. We often use astrology to blame it all on Saturn or Rahu, Ketu. I mean, I prefer to consider whether something's hard or easy. If a situation is challenging, well, we can rise to the occasion of a challenge. But if it's fated, if we think it's fated, my health sucks, I can't do anything about it, then you've chosen your own fate in that situation. So this is about making conscious choices, using astrology as a tool for self-awareness. So this is a great opportunity then. Astrology becomes an opportunity to learn from the great teachers of the planets, the 9 gurus. What are they teaching? So just take, for instance, Saturn. What we know about Saturn. Saturn, on one end of the spectrum, represents commitment, discipline, hard work, achievement, many things. But these are positive things, right? On the other end of the spectrum, Saturn can also represent laziness. How can one planet represent laziness as well as hard work and dedication? I mean, they seem to be. So this is the spectrum that we get with each planet. We choose the higher path. We choose discipline in the case of Saturn. Let's just say, okay, Saturn is in Pisces now. We know that from the end of last month, March, right? So Saturn is going to, from Pisces, have an influence on the planets in your chart to varying degrees. If it's a tight aspect, let's just say, onto the sun, right? By conjunction in Pisces or wherever sun is placed, being aspected by Saturn. Well, the sun represents the body. Saturn represents where we need to work. So Saturn gives us every transit into a new sign. Like now it's in Pisces for 2.5 years till the fall of 2027. Saturn will give us our curriculum. It tells us where we need to work, take responsibility for. be better organized, restructure things, apply ourselves, make a commitment. So we have a choice, right? Sun represents the body. We can either start a discipline, like say go to the gym. All right. We realize we're getting a little bit flabby in the middle area. We want to improve our physical appearance. Let's just say we want to go to the gym. We want to increase our circulation, blood, and our blood, our oxygen in the blood. These are all good things, right? So we set a schedule. We go to the gym. We work at it. Now that would be a positive conscious choice of the chart. Now becomes even more important when you're in a Saturn dasha, either the Mahadasha, the Antardasha, the Pratyantara dasha. Saturn's also a dasha lord, and it's a transit. Whoa, now you have a double reason to pay attention to this. Okay, definitely Saturn is your teacher. So yeah, this can be hard, but that's how we grow. An easy life is not a victorious life, as Paramahansa Yogananda said. So let's just say, okay, we know we could take up a discipline related to exercise, but what about diet? We could take up a discipline related to food. We know we need to cut back on sugar, let's just say. Okay, 30 days, I'm going to restrict sugar. No sugar, 30 days. People do this all the time. It's a big fad. Cut back on caffeine. In any case, this is also a Saturn-related choice. Why? Because Saturn represents restriction, limitation. We are deciding not to do something. So Saturn gives health related to what we choose to not do, or we restrict in our diet, we cut out. So Saturn gives this cutting out benefit, restricting, versus avoiding it. No, okay, it's just like too much work. I don't want to deal with it. I enjoy it. I don't want to work at it. I want to sweep it under the rug. Well, in that situation, Saturn's going to make things harder. We could suffer more. Saturn is a planet of suffering and misery. So, but only when we're avoiding it. So this is conscious astrology in action. That's what we're talking about. Making a conscious choice. So I like what my friend Dennis Harness says. He says, astrologers are choice revealers, not choice makers. So when we think of the astrology chart as working for us, then we just have to find out how we can use the thing, right? How can this benefit me? What do I need to change? What do I need to, in the case of Saturn, what do I need to restructure? If it's a relationship, it's likely, say, Saturn is transiting the 7th house, aspecting Venus in the chart, then it could mean make it or break it time in a relationship. Either the relationship goes towards more commitment or towards separation. So usually we can't stay on the fence in that situation. It's because Saturn is the great reckoner. It's time to look at stuff that we don't like, even if it's hard. That's what Saturn's asking of us. So the great teacher is asking us to do the hard stuff. Do what we've avoided and swept under the rug for the longest time. Now it's time to attend to it, and we will benefit. This is really the crux of it. Do we see the chart as we have choice, or do we see the chart as we have no choice? It's just fated, and this is what astrology is for. I mean, this came from the great sages, after all. Sages were interested in benefiting humanity through astrology. So this is what we're talking about. How to live our higher self through Vedic astrology. And then it's like, oh, very different. doesn't create fear. The curriculum, it gives us what we need to do. Well, influence of Rahu. We need to think outside the box, try something new. This is it's teaching. So we're going to stop here. Thanks so much for watching. And I look forward to our next video tomorrow. Namaste.